Today, I bring you a video with 5 brutal tricks. Why? Well, for the most important thing in life, to be happy. This video is loaded with content, and it's possible that just one of these tricks will change your life forever. And for those who stay until the end, I have 3 extra surprises for you. I'm not going to go on any longer, so let's get started. First trick. And pay attention, it's possible that this one will be enough to solve any complicated situation that life throws at us. It's one of my favorites, and the name is really cool. The slap. It's called the slap because it starts from a specific and concrete situation, completely distancing yourself from it and getting a bird's eye view. See it from above to realize that it's not that important and that it's possibly an excuse you're using to focus on that situation and forget about doing what you have to do in this life. What are you in this world for? To get bitter over a silly thing? You have come to do something incredible. You cannot be immersed in that situation that is blocking you. You cannot afford it. You have a mission to do, so stop shirking by pretending that you're not in the mood, which may seem very entertaining at the moment, but it will waste your time. As you can see, this first trick is a first scolding to not forget what you have, and I can tell you that it is one of my favorite tricks. These words from Arnold Schwarzenegger allow us to talk about the second trick, which is a brutal one: how to manage stress. Our body reacts in the same way to all types of stress. Although the stress of lifting weights and that caused by bad news are totally different, our body does not distinguish between them and uses exactly the same source of recovery to respond to it. In other words, yes, mental stress can make you physically weaker. That is why within this point, I will give you 3 spectacular tips for managing it. First tip: avoid arguments and become a little more tolerant. This may seem very obvious, but there are many times in life when we do not respond. Instead, our ego responds. For example, the driver you got angry at while driving. Maybe it's not that important what happened to you. Relax, choose not to waste your stress on this absurd situation. This point, as I say, we will develop later. Second tip: organize yourself well. A lot of stress comes from not organizing ourselves. Make a list of what you will do each day and don't move on to the next activity if you haven't done the previous one. Be clear that in a big project, you won't do everything in one day. Be patient, organize yourself well, and whatever you are going to do it well. Third tip, and a little adjusted to current times: don't waste your stress thinking about and giving importance to what others say about you. For example, on social networks, we spend a lot of time thinking about that, and that generates a certain stress that really shouldn't even exist. To close this section, as Arnold Schwarzenegger said in the phrase that I've put to you, focus on what you can control. What you cannot control, and that affects you negatively, delegate it. Understand that a negative reaction that causes you stress is not going to modify that result. So stressing yourself out over this will totally change your life. You will be calmer, and paradoxically, this will bring you better results. I am convinced. The third incredible trick to be happier is one that I love, and it is the trick of as always. This means that when you receive positive news, you value and appreciate it, because within that joy, there is a serene part of you that says, as always. How can the positive not happen in your life when you are doing what you like? Normalizing the idea of success is something very powerful that will transform your life, because it will take for granted that what happened by doing what you like is normal in your life. And paradoxically, it will happen more often. I love this idea. This phrase by Bob Proctor has something to do with what I am saying. Stop reacting, start responding. It doesn't matter what happens, the only thing that matters is how you react to whatever happens. The third trick is one of the most powerful. I do not present it, but the person who told me about it is someone very special. With all of you, my friend James Vanderlust. Welcome. How are you, man? How are you? Okay, dude, tell us the trick of better. Better, okay, how it works. This comes from a need to know how to change reality. It's as simple as using the word better as the header for your responses. Imagine that they give you bad news. Instead of responding, well, let's see how we solve this, you directly respond, better. And from there, Start justifying why it's better. Let's give an example. If you want to ask me about a complicated situation that may have happened to you, now just before we started recording, there was half sun and half shadow on the couch. I said, wow, what light? I put better, because this way we got a different shot, and it gives this effect that it's giving, as well as this reality. This thing is so different from normal, you see, dude. Whatever you can think of, man. This wasn't planned. We're going all out. We're going to do a trial by fire. We're going to do it the other way around. I'll present you with a negative situation, and you'll respond with better, etc., etc., etc. Ready? My girlfriend isn't coming to dinner today. Better, man. I can dedicate all that time to that project that I'm starting to build. And what's more, I can even meet up with my friends, have a great time, and go out for that plan that I've been avoiding all this time, so I'm going to do it tonight. Come on, great. I'm in bed and I can't sleep. Better, uncle. Sometimes what can happen is that with the better, you can let out a smile. Because the one who is telling you there can think that you are crazy, but don't worry, you are not crazy. It's just that you have already crossed the line and you are already here with us. If you want to know more about this concept, I leave you the link to the video that James has recorded on his channel. Come over and subscribe. Oysters! What a change of scenery, James, man. Since you are here, do you mind commenting on the last one? Not at all, man. Come on. The rare last trick is very interesting. I have called it time control. Imagine that you are going to an event where you are not very comfortable and you have a lot of anxiety. With this trick, you can face any fear that may occur in that environment. The key is to imagine how that event would happen. Imagine, for example, a magic show. I imagine what that show will be like with a lot of details, how it will be when you enter, how the spectator will experience it. I'm seeing it, I'm visualizing it. You, before arriving at the site, before entering, imagine that you travel to the future, and you see it like a movie, like something that hasn't happened yet. You anticipate the situation of the future that is going to happen. Better, man. I can dedicate all that time to that project that I'm starting to build. And what's more, I can even meet up with my friends, have a great time, and go out for that plan that I've been avoiding all this time. So I'm going to do it tonight. Come on, great. I'm in bed and I can't sleep. There's a trick within this time control. It's an incredible trick that we did some time ago, which is to imagine that uncomfortable situation that causes you anxiety, that unhappiness, imagining it as if it happened yesterday when it's not over yet. It's incredible. That moment of anxiety, wow, that complicated moment in which I'm going to feel uncomfortable. I imagine that it happened yesterday and that it not only happened, but on top of that, it was a success, that it was something spectacular, and that today you celebrate yesterday's success. Exactly. The key is to imagine all the details, the smells, the touch, the looks of the people who are in that place, in the case that it is an event. But as I say, it can be anything. The more details, the better. I find the proposal super interesting. In fact, psychologically, how to see that when you pass by 2 or 3 times for a situation, the second time is always better than the first, the third better than the second. And I see that the fact of having imagined what has happened, having celebrated it, etc., makes you arrive at the event with more peace of mind, with more confidence as if it happened yesterday. How is it not going to happen today? So nothing, guys. These are the 5 tricks. And for those who have stayed until this part of the video, let's go with 3 extra tips. Having said that, for those who have stayed, I have 3 secrets that I am convinced you are going to like. The first is a physical technique, a technique that you can use in any situation, and it is in a complicated moment of difficulty. Clench your fists very well. And it's impossible for you not to solve things. It automatically changes your mood. It's a trick that I learned on the fly, and it works very well for me. Another trick has to do with the physique. When you take care of your physical condition, paradoxically, you are much better. If you go to the gym and exercise, you automatically feel much better. You are generating endorphins, and that is related to your state of cheer. The last one is a very, very interesting trick, and it has to do with the fasting phase that we saw in the previous video. There's a phase in which you are more alert, a phase where you are very aware of everything, where your creativity skyrockets, a very key phase. I will be leaving you a link to the video where I talk about fasting. Take a look. In that fasting phase, it is impossible not to be happy.